Friday, 1:50 a.m. Hollis walked slowly back down the alleyway, stumbling when the pavement switched from asphalt to the slippery, rounded cobblestones. He was a little drunk. When he turned his head, everything bright left a faint contrail after it. The moon, the street lights, cars up ahead of him, reflections off puddles. Glancing up at the apartment windows that overlooked the alley, he accidentally kicked over a box of empty bottles in the gutter. They were champagne bottles, expensive ones, Moet et Chandon, and he could just make out the green of the thick, dark glass in the semi-darkness. He double-checked to make sure they were all empty. They were. He kicked the box again, and one of the bottles ripped free of the damp cardboard, rattling away over the cobblestones for a few yards before it suddenly shattered. The container can no longer contain the thing contained. A man's voice yelled something down at him that he didn't understand. Except for a couple of taxi drivers leaning against an orange and white cab pulled up against the curb, the street was deserted. They were talking in a dialect that sounded something like Creole. Otherwise, the night was quiet, and Hollis could hear the tiny whirring, switching noises the traffic lights made as they changed from green to yellow to red. He crossed. In the middle of the street, a car horn honked right behind him, and he leaped onto the sidewalk and spun around. The car was moving so fast the Doppler effect distorted the sound of the horn as it swept past him. He watched it go. The brake lights flared as it rounded a corner, and arms waved at him out the windows on both sides. It was Basil's car.
I will kill him! Yet stay. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Hollis decided to stop and deposit his check in the extra minutes before his bus came. The ATM was housed in a tiny enclosed storefront with a picture window, too small to be a store. The window lit up the sidewalk with a swath of white fluorescent light. Standing outside, Hollis went through his wallet for his bank card, making a face at the brightness. Before he finished, the lock clicked open, by itself. The door swung open, just an inch. He looked up. A woman sat perched on the plastic counter beside the ATM, next to the stacks of deposit envelopes. From where she sat, she was holding the door open for Hollis with her foot. She wore black leather boots that hugged her calves, with lots of complicated lacings running up them. Hollis opened the door and stepped inside. She withdrew her leg and folded it back under her. Her stockings were black. Inside the tiny space, it was bright. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Crumpled-up receipts with faint purple printing on them lay all over the nubbly rubber floor. "Thanks," said Hollis. The woman glanced up at him for a second. Hollis guessed she might be in her early 20s. Her longish hair was dyed a mixture of dark red and black, and it was a little lank. A long string of fake-looking pearls hung around her neck. She had pale skin and a large, wide mouth. Her lipstick was a dark shade of reddish-brown. She was talking, but she wasn't speaking English. Hollis didn't recognize the language. It sounded Slavic. It took him a second to realize that she wasn't talking on a payphone. She was talking on the ATM's emergency help phone. A sign under it read, "In case of difficulty, lift handset." Hollis tried to eavesdrop, but all he understood was a couple of names. When he was done with the cash machine, he put off getting his card back. He toyed absently with the bumps of the Braille instructions on their embossed metal plaque. After another minute, the woman said what sounded like goodbye, and since he was standing at the machine, she handed him the phone. He hung it up. "I can't believe you can still do that," she said matter-of-factly. She had a big black leather handbag, and she rummaged around in it and got out some lipstick. She started putting it on in a businesslike way, using her reflection in the window. "Do what?" said Hollis. Use that phone.
Use it for what?
Long-distance calls. She pursed her lips in the window. You don't have to pay. The ATM returned Hollis's card, and he took it and stepped backwards until he could lean back against the outside window. You don't have to pay? He said. Nope. She made an odd clicking noise with her tongue. Who gets the bill? The bank? As far as I know. How does it work? Before she answered, the woman gave Hollis a long, very neutral look. It was startlingly pretty. It's a long story, she said finally. That's my favorite kind. The alcohol was making Hollis calmer than he normally would have been. Still watching him, she felt around blindly in her bag with one hand. Why do you want to know? She said. I don't know, said Hollis. It just sounds like a sweet hack, I guess. A loophole. Hey, everybody wants to épater le bourgeois. Them crazy French.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.